I get the logic. I get the appeal of having one of those little memo notebooks that you keep in your pocket, the composition style ones that are super cheap. You get them from the dollar store. Sometimes you can find them other places in like a 3-pack. And they come in green, red, blue, black, every color you can imagine, unless it's a color that isn't one of those 4, because I'm pretty sure that's all they come in. There's a limitation right there. I want it in purple. No, I don't. I'm just kidding. I get it. Having something that you can write down video ideas, song lyrics, names, places, appointments, song lyrics. Did I say song lyrics? In case Shazam stops working on your phone, or you're someplace where you can't take your phone out and use it for those purposes. Like maybe you're at work and you have a manager who's like, no, you can't use your phone in front of the customers. What will they think? They'll be like, that's unprofessional. You're not doing your job. But if instead you say, give me a minute, I need to write this down, and pull out a little very professional looking notebook, he'll be like, yes, that is a man who should be promoted. So it makes sense. I'm not criticizing the logic. I used to be a fulfillment lead at a department store, which if you don't know what that means, it basically means if you buy something online, I was the one that found it in the store, packed it, and shipped it to you. So I had access to this tape that was like non-sticky until it got wet, and then it became sticky, kind of like the stamp glue, like that killed frickin' George Costanza's fiancée. What was her name? Susan Ross. The glue that killed Susan Ross. Fortunately, we had a dispenser which basically had a sponge, and when you pull the tape, it would wet the tape, and then when you were done, it would cut it with a blade so that you would only wet what you were using and didn't have to use your tongue. I used to make these little notebooks out of scrap paper and then bound them together with staples and made like a cover out of this this packing tape. And I tried to carry them around with me, so if I ever had to write anything down, I would have it on me. Basically, I basically made my own composition notebooks, just didn't have lines in it. I've even purchased the actual notebooks that I described before and tried to carry them around with me for the same purpose. But it never worked. There's a couple of reasons why it didn't work, for me at least, and why it probably won't work for most people. You have to take the notebook with you. You can't lose the notebook. And you need a pen. And the pen is really the biggest one. I used to carry pens with me. Fountain pens, actually. I use them for drawing. These are my favorites right here. And by favorites, I mean all of the ones that I own. They're still nonetheless my favorites. I own them because I like them. I would use them oftentimes in conjunction with this, which is a similar logic to the composition notebook for note-taking, but instead it's for drawings. These make excellent, good little sketchbooks. What is this? It is an index card book. They're lined on one side, so if I wanted to take notes, I could. But then they're plain on the other side, which makes them great for drawing on. They're also heavy, like cardstock material, not cheap, flimsy paper like you would find in an actual composition notebook. I don't like writing on thin paper. I prefer thick paper. I like them thick. But eventually I stopped carrying the fountain pens and stopped carrying the notebook as well, because if I didn't have the pen, why would I carry the notebook? And that's it. That's the thing. If you don't have a pen on you, like in your pocket, in your hand, then the notebook becomes useless. And if you're like, in the aforementioned example of being at work, if you are like on one side of the store or one side of the office or somewhere where you don't have access to a pen that you can freely utilize, then the notebook is completely useless, because you have to be like, hold on a second, I need to walk 100 yards over there to grab a pen so that I could write something down, and then write it down and then put it in my pocket. At that point, this becomes the more practical option, and your manager will no longer be like, yes, that is a professional man. He's going to say, yes, that's an idiot. So I don't carry a notebook with me, or a memo book rather, because I can't carry a pen, and I can't remember to carry a pen. I can't be bothered to do that. I actually used to carry micron pens with me for the same reason why I would carry the things that I was talking about before, the fountain pens. What I did was I put zip ties around the caps and then attached them to little clips that I could put on my keychain. And then whenever I had my keys on me, I'd have pens on me. But the problem with that was that the numbers on the micron pens wore off in my pocket and then I didn't know which pen was which. So I stopped doing that. And now I just don't carry a pen with me at all. It's probably a good idea to carry a pen with me, but again, I can't be bothered. So I don't carry the notebook either. And like, I probably couldn't be bothered to remember to take the notebook with me either. At least not all the time. And if I can't utilize it all the time, then it defeats the purpose of having something where all of your things are in one place. Because then they are not. Because if I'm writing on little scraps of paper, why don't I always just write on little scraps of paper? Why do I need the notebook? So for a while I was carrying Post-it notes with me. Just like a little stack of Post-it notes. Which, I mean, suits the scraps of paper logic. Because that's what Post-it notes are. They're little scraps of paper. I still didn't carry a pen. But I digress. Do I digress? What's the definition of digress? Leave the main subject temporarily in speech or writing. So I do not digress. I do the reverse of digress. Thank you for watching. This is the end of the video. I have nothing more to say on this subject. If you enjoyed this rambling mess that took me way too long to make and actually involved some sort of editing, be sure to like and subscribe and share it, perhaps. Maybe. Leave a comment below. I'd like to know your thoughts. And, of course, don't die.